What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm excited. As you guys can see from the title, I picked up an iMac Mini Pro, and I'm going to explain why I got this one over the Studio. But before we get into all of that stuff, unboxing and hooking up on that stuff, we actually got to go get it. So I'm super excited. This is my first Apple desktop. Let's go to the Apple Store. A clean TT package acquired. Time to head home. Apple Store was packed as usual. Back home, and we're in the game room, and actually it might look a little different in here. I'll show you guys. As you can see, things are definitely different in here. I want to revamp this whole room again, and I have an idea how I want to do it, but it's gonna get there. Make sure you check out my last vlog. Shelly and I did our first 5K. Actually, I want to put this shirt in a frame. We're gonna do an updated room tour pretty soon. Today we're focusing on this bad boy right here. Okay, so we got a Mac Mini. Let's jump right in and open this thing up. While I was in the Apple Store, they brought out the Mac Mini to me, and then the guy's gonna ask me, do I want a bag? I'm like, bro, why would I wanna walk out of here with just having a computer in my hand? I'm like, yeah, give me a bag. Okay, this bag is all rich, but here she is. So this is the basic Pro that you can get. I think this is like $12.99. 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabyte SD. I always love how Apple package their products and make it easy to open and close. Look how small this thing is. This is a desktop. If you guys not familiar with what this is a computer. This is actually a desktop. Look at the packaging on this thing. It's crazy. Like, look at the size. It's packaged so close that they give you this little tab to pull on. Look at that. See, this is the computer. This whole thing right here is the computer. Ain't that crazy? Things are tiny. All right. I think I get a power supply, and that's it. I don't think you get anything else with this thing. Yeah, you get a power supply, and I don't think there's anything else in here. Just packaging. I'll double check that in a minute, actually. Let's put that back over there. Yo, this box is, it's crazy how close it is. In the packaging, you pretty much get your stickers and your quick guide, and that's pretty much it, which is what I was expecting. Goes back in the bag. Open the power supply. So you don't even have a brick, because technically the brick is built into the Mac Mini itself. Come on, bro, what you doing? There we go. Okay, so this is the Mac Mini. Peel this guy off. So you see Mac Mini in the back, and this is the back part of it. Wow, look at this thing. So you got your power port there, Ethernet cable. Because this is the Pro, you get 4 Lightning Thunderbolt ports. If you got the regular Mac Mini, then you get 2. 1 HDMI port, 2 USB-A's, and a headphone jack, and your fan. And nothing in the front. Oh, that's a status thing. I'm like, they chipped my thing already. Look how tiny this thing is. So, I didn't get a studio monitor. For right now, I'm just gonna plug the Mac into one of my dual monitors I got back there, one of those guys. Cause I think the studio monitor is like another $2 grand, something like that. Nobody got money for that, so I just bought this by itself. I didn't get a keyboard, I didn't get a mouse, none of that. Actually going to use my current keyboard and mouse for right now, and I probably will get an Apple keyboard, but then for the mouse, this is a different type of mouse I actually want to get. I've been shopping for a MacBook for a minute. Right now, I use a MacBook Pro, a 2017 version, and I've been looking to a new MacBook since the latest MacBook Pros came out. And I keep telling myself, oh, I'm gonna get this, because I'm looking at a 16 inch, I think a terabyte of storage, for the RAM, whatever. Mine is like $3 grand, whatever, right? The way how I want to spec out. So I know Apple is gonna be releasing some new stuff in the next few months anyway. So this is around the time when, like June, maybe next month. Yeah, next month usually when they have their, their event and they announce the latest thing and blah 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 blah. And I've been telling myself I'm gonna get a MacBook for the past like 3 years, and I still haven't. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait on the MacBook because I'm not gonna get a MacBook now if a new one's right around the corner. But I wanted a Mac desktop because, let's go to my setup to give you guys an idea. This is my current setup now. So I have a build PC that I built. This is my daily computer. This is what I use to game on, and this is what I use for everything else. To edit, I use my 17 MacBook Pro, which I've been looking to upgrade, and I'm still gonna upgrade this. This is not going nowhere. I'm gonna keep this while I have the Mac Mini, but this is what I use to edit, and this is what I use for everything else. What I wanted actually is to have a desktop I can have for everything else and editing, and keep this strictly for gaming. What's gonna happen is I may have this screen just for this for right now, and have the iStudio on this screen to edit, or vice versa, whichever way I wanna go about it. But this guy is gonna stick with this section over here, if that makes sense. I'm gonna get the studio display. I'm still gonna get that regardless. I don't know if I'm gonna do dual studio displays, because it's about time I upgrade from these monitors. These things has done me well. It's about time I upgrade from those though. And then this computer, I think I'm gonna have it strictly on this monitor here. So if I ever wanna do any gaming, that's what this computer's gonna be about. And also, I haven't been gaming at all, like at all. I can't remember the last time I even used the wheel. This thing, everything over here has just been collecting dust. PS5 hasn't been turned on like forever. What it is I really don't have that much time to game anymore, but I still want to game. So I'm still gonna put the time in, which is why I won't get rid of none of this stuff. All this stuff is gonna stay here. But since I don't game as much, I'm doing more editing, I have my second channel, all that good stuff, I figured let me get a Mac Studio that I can edit on, and then if I ever wanted to travel, whatever, then I could bring this guy until I upgrade it. Speaking of upgrading, I've been slacking on my Apple product. Like, look at all my Apple products I got right now. Look at this. Look how old everything is. Let's start with the smallest thing. So I have AirPods first generation. I also have an Apple Watch, but this is a Series 3. And then I have my I have my iPad 8th generation. And then I have a MacBook Pro 2017. That's just, I mean, not including my iPhone, which is this is the newest thing. There's a 14 Pro Max. Old. Like, it's about time I do an update on upgrade everything. So I'm still want to get a new MacBook, but I'll probably wait till the next MacBook Pros come out. Probably gonna be having an M3 chip, or maybe they'll upgrade the M2 chip again. I don't know. This is just old. This thing got a finger scanner. Like, what in the ghetto? This thing, bro, this is a generation 3, am I mistaken? This is Series 3. They're up to like Series 8 right now or something like that. That needs to upgrade it. And this is the original AirPods. So instead of upgrading anything, we're adding something new. I'm gonna temporarily put the Mac Mini, I guess, right here for right now. But yeah, there's a whole new keyboard I wanna get and a whole new mouse that I wanna get. This whole setup, like I said, I'm gonna completely change everything. But for right now, I just wanna get this thing situated first. So let's do that real fast. Over here trying to figure out how to turn this thing on. There's a power button right here on the side. Also, the speakers on the Mac Studios are trash. I don't know what Apple was thinking of that. It is what it is. Oh, I guess it's, I don't know what none of that means. Oh, how about we hook up a mouse to this thing? So I want to show this mouse for right now. And on this USB-A, plug that guy in. That way we have a mouse, and we do. Okay, I guess I gotta set this thing up and sign in, all that good stuff. So, to pair Bluetooth keyboard, turn on, wait for, oh yeah. I got Final Cut Pro on this guy. So definitely gonna test out how fast it is compared to my MacBook. I'm sure, like I said, this will blow my MacBook out the water. A comparison between the Mac Mini M2 or M2 Pro and the Studio. I just threw an iMac in here. And the reason why I didn't go with an iMac is because I just didn't want to be stuck with the screen. You know, I like to be able to upgrade my monitor, so iMac didn't really make sense to me. And the iMac still has the Intel chip and everything. Like, nobody wants that. So, you have the Mac Studio with the M1 Max, or the Ultra, whichever chip you choose, and the Mac Mini. So, the Mac Mini starts at $600, which is crazy for the M2 non-Pro chip. And just for like regular everyday computering, $600 is crazy. That's like a steal. The Studio starts at $2,000, so keep that in mind. And you do have the M2 chip, M2 Pro, M1 Max, or M1 Ultra for the Studio. And we're not even gonna look at don't look at the third portion. These two is what we're comparing to. So the highest you can go with the M2, like the regular M2, is 12 core. If you get the Pro, it's 19 core. If you start with the M1 Max on the Studio, 20 core or 64 core on Ultra, which is crazy. Even the 19 core where what I have right now with the Pro, I feel like that's a lot going on. But memory, so you can get up 32 gigs on the Mini, 128 gigs on the Studio. Like the Studio is just for someone that's doing way more than what I'm doing. That's one reason why it lead me away from the Studio, because I don't need all of this. You know, like these specs are crazy. Both can go up to 8 terabytes, so that's cool. And you have a headphone jack, but support high. So this is what's weird. So the Studio has a regular 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. If this is a Studio platform, why doesn't it have like the Mini that has this high impedance headphone support, whatever, the better quality thing, whatever? Weird, super weird. But yeah, Magic, Wi-Fi, and then the Mini has Bluetooth 5.3. And the Studio has 5.0, so the Mini does have a better connection at the latest Bluetooth, pretty much, which is interesting. And then I didn't opt in for the 10 gigabytes. I just went with the basic M1. I don't need it. I was deciding between a few of these Mac devices. So you have the Mac Studio, which is double the size, probably almost triple the size of the Mini. The Mac Studio has the M1 Max chip or the M1 Ultra, or you can get the Mac Mini. And you can get the base one that has the regular M2 chip, or this one has the M2 Pro chip. So I've been going back and forth between the Studio M1 or the M2 Pro Mac Mini. And to be honest, I think the average person would be fine with the regular Mac Mini M2, not even this Pro one. I think the regular Mac Mini is fine. What I've been looking for, I think the Studio, you know, it's very powerful, better GPU. You know, it's bigger, better cooling, all that good stuff. But I'm not a photo editor. You know, I don't do coding. I don't do, like, even this Pro. This Pro is mostly for someone that, let's say, because if you spec out the M2 Pro, you're touching kind of price range where the Studio kind of is. And even though the Studio has an M1, the specs on the Studio is still high up there. If you max out one of these M2 Pros, you're gonna be like $200 more than a Studio, and it's very similar specs. And the M1 Studio still has better cooling. It still has better GPU. It has better ports. You know, so it's a weird. Apple made this weird kind of bracket when it comes to their desktops, especially if it's the Mini versus the Studio, but I got the Pro because I knew that the regular Mini would be fine, but I just wanted just a smidge a little bit more, which is why I got the Pro. Because I do editing as well too. You know, I have 2 channels that I edit on, and the Pro, even the regular Mini probably would have been fine, but I think just giving myself a little bit more of a bump as far as specs, the Pro works out. My 17 Pro, this has been my baby. This thing, has been, it pretty much edited every video on this channel since I had this thing. And before this, I actually had a 13 MacBook. I don't think that was a Pro. I think it was just a 13 MacBook, or was it a Pro? I don't know. I had a 13 MacBook, then I sold it and bought this thing used. It was a 17 MacBook Pro, and I got it for dirt cheap because the person that was selling it bought brand new Macs for him and his wife, and they just didn't need these. And I'm still gonna use this. It's still gonna be my go-to. If we travel, like I said earlier, I'm gonna edit on this guy. But this thing is a 2.3, what was that, dual core Intel Core i5, and this thing had 8 gigs of RAM. So going from the Intel i5, 8 gigs of RAM, and this has 120 gigabytes of storage, to a 16 gigs of RAM M2 Pro chip, I'm at the 512 gigabyte storage, which is gonna be more than enough because I barely fill up the 120 on this thing. The only thing I don't like though is that on the Mac Mini, being that, I don't know, Apple did this thing where they switched up their SSDs, and now the 512 SSD is slower than before. So if you get a 1 terabyte SSD, it's a lot faster than the 512, but the average person won't really notice that. You gotta be some type of, you know, video editor, always whatever, to even notice that. Anyways, these specs are perfect for me because what I'm used to, this will blow this laptop out the water like crazy. But another thing I didn't like about the Mini versus the Studio, because like I said, I've been debating between the two. The Studio has a SD reader on the front. They should have put that thing on this thing. If this is a Pro, they should have put an SD reader on the front, or at least on the back. This thing don't got an SD reader at all. Now that's okay because this thing don't have an SD reader either. And I've been using the dongle, so I'll just use the dongle with this. But I don't like that all the ports is in the back. I mean, it is a more cleaner look, but whatever, you know. I'm not gonna get a Studio just for a memory card reader. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like I said, the Studio is still a good option. It just didn't fit what I needed. And this thing's still a good deal. If you get the base Mac Mini Pro, the one that's $12.99, it's a good deal. But once you start building on top of that, now you're touching Studio price range, and now you're probably better off with a Studio. But me personally, for someone that's I make videos, they're not too demanding, and I'm used to a 17 Pro. This was perfect for me. This was perfect for me. I love the size. I love everything about it. But like I said, with the Studio, this thing finally finished updating. Let me finish knocking this thing out because I kind of want to get this video out before I go to work. One thing I'm going to be interested in seeing is how long it takes to render, how long it takes to, you know, put videos, clips on here, how long it takes to export it as well. Because my MacBook is so much older that it takes forever to edit videos, especially when I'm doing my car videos, and then I add the clip where it's me going through over the walk around. By the way, check out my car review channel too if you're interested in that. The link is right above my head. But if I give it some work, you know, sometimes it takes a little bit longer to render or exporting too. I'll put multiple clips in my MacBook, and it takes some time. And that's one reason why I haven't been recording 4K, because I tried like editing 4K on my laptop and it took forever. I was like, I'm sticking with 1080. Now this thing should be able, and this is the Pro, so this thing should be able to do 4K with ease. It should zip through 1080, you know. So it's just overall just an upgrade that was really needed. This is gonna help with my workflow. This is gonna help because sometimes I'll edit a video and it will take like 20 minutes to export. I mean, I haven't really paid attention to the timing, but it takes a minute for me to, like, it takes forever for me to edit a video on my MacBook. So this should help me knock out videos faster. Then that means I can have more videos out and I can be more consistent on my channels as well, because sometimes I go a few days without uploading because it takes so long to edit and I need to make sure I'm awake and I have energy and all that good stuff. It is a day later. One thing I can say is, one, this thing is pretty quiet. I haven't feel it get warm yet. And it is super fast, but so I'm editing this video right now, and it is like just the way how like importing videos is super quick compared to my MacBook Pro. Even though this is not even that bad, but this thing is just, it's a game changer. It definitely is. What I've been doing, instead of using the keyboard for the Mac Mini, I kept the keyboard to this PC for right now. I kept the mouse to this PC for right now. I plugged in my MacBook into the Mac Mini, and I'm able to use my MacBook's touchpad as a mouse, and the keyboard as well too, and it's separate. But I did buy a new microphone. It's late. I did buy a new mouse for the Mac Mini. I may unbox that in the next video I make, or whenever I get to it. And also there's a certain keyboard I want to get for the Mac Mini as well. So I'm going to keep this keyboard for this thing. I'm actually going to have to redo this whole section over here. I know I mentioned in the video, but I'm gonna get to a point where I'm gonna have like a keyboard, like a keyboard stand, a mouse stand. So when I am on the wheel, this keyboard and mouse, everything's all over there. And that way I'm still using this too, because at first I was gonna sell the mouse and sell the keyboard because I want to get a new keyboard with that guy. And I already got a new mouse, but I figure I could keep this with this PC, and I'm Gucci. And I'm thinking eventually I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because I do want this PC off this desk eventually, and I don't want this just to have free space. I want to have the iStudio over here, and I may just have one screen. I don't think I need dual monitors for the iMac Mini. So I'm still deciding what I'm going to do. But what I may do is have these two monitors on Shelly's setup. I don't know. There's a lot on my mind. There's a lot of stuff I want to do. Everything here is going to be changed. The mouse pad, everything is going to be completely different. So stay tuned for that in due time. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to catch you guys in the next video.